Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Rebecca Smith, and today I'm going to give you the four fingers, four keys to reaching your true sport potential. I hear all the time about athletes who they are very talented. They have all this potential, and the coach can see it, and the parents can see it, and everybody knows that they have so much potential. They're natural, they're strong, they're fast, whatever it is that people can see, but they are just not rising to it. That maybe they did for a period of time. Maybe they had a phenomenal season up until like age 10 or 11 or even 12. And then all of a sudden, it's like this plateau. Or maybe they're doing fine. You just know there's more. That tells me that one of these four things is missing, or maybe more than one. But I'm going to give you the four so that you can give yourself the best chance of having that like epic sport career that you're looking for. So the first thing I want to tell you before I tell you the four keys is the basic science, pseudoscience, real quick, don't worry, of building muscle, of getting stronger. So the idea is when you are trying to build muscle, when you're trying to get stronger, stress plus recovery equals adaptation. I know what I mean by this. And I wish I had this little drawing. My daughter asked me the other day, I was like, oh, I'm so sore. I did Pilates and I was like walking around all like, ow, I'm sore. And she's like, what do you mean you're sore? So you can tell she's obviously not a high level gymnast yet because that's a familiar feeling. But I told her, I was like, well, I'm sore because there's little tears in my muscles and they're going to grow back stronger. And she's like, what? And so I grabbed this piece of paper and I was like, okay. I drew my stick figure and then I drew little muscles all over the stick figure. I'm quite the artist, as you can probably tell. And then I drew little tears in the muscles. And I was like, okay, so this is like if you're doing push-ups and then your muscles start to get really tired and you keep going, you are creating these little micro tears in your muscles. And she's like, oh gosh, they're like, you're tearing your muscle. I'm like, yes, the teeny tiny little tears. And then you sleep and then you eat good food. And then those little tears, they heal, but they don't just go back to normal. They go back stronger. And she's like, whoa. And she was like, I want to go do some push-ups right now. I'm like, I know, right? But the concept behind that is that you have to stress out your muscles before they can get stronger. You have to push them to their max and beyond. So if you're doing sit-ups and you start to get tired and you stop, you have not put stress on your muscles. If you start to get tired, you're fatiguing, and then you push through and you keep going, that's when your muscles really start to stress out. And then the key is they have to have time to recover. And that is what creates adaptation, which makes you better. It makes you adapt to the stressful situation so that it's no longer stressful. Then that same amount of sit-ups, that same amount of push-ups is not stressful anymore. It's just what you're able to do. Okay, so with that in mind, we'll talk about our four keys. Number one, you have to train your body. You have to train your muscles. You have to stress your muscles and stress your body so that what once was hard, you adapt to it and it becomes normal and it becomes automatic. So that's something that your coaches are doing expertly. I don't need to tell you about that. They stress you out and then you heal and then you're stronger. That's the idea. Okay, that's key number one. Key number two is what you're doing to actually recover. And that's rest and recovery. You must have enough rest and you must allow your muscles to recover. If you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not having enough downtime, your muscles will not fully be able to repair themselves. Okay. That recovery, sleep, I'm telling you, is the number one thing that you can control that athletes do not take advantage of. I mean, if anything, I talked to a sleep doctor who his expertise is in sleep psychology for athletes. And he said, if you have to choose between not getting enough sleep and training less hours, you're better off leaving practice early, getting home and going to sleep. I know that's going to be controversial for plenty of coaches, but you have to prioritize your rest and recovery. You must. Otherwise, you're depriving yourself of the ability to adapt. And all you're doing is just continuing to stress your muscles without getting that full recovery and that adaptation. Okay, so those are the first two, training your body and then rest and recovery. The third one is how you fuel and hydrate. If you're not fueling your body in the right way, you're not going to be able to get the optimal recovery. And same goes for hydration. You have to make sure that the inputs are good so that it's making sure that you've got enough fuel in your machine to allow that process of recovery and adaptation to happen. Okay, now here is the fourth key. You have to train your mind, because the other thing that's under stress during this process is your mind. There's stress, like that physical stress, then there's the emotional stress. And stress does not need to mean that you're suffering. Stress could mean that you are, you're pushed up against your edge. You're being asked to be more aggressive. You're being asked to do something scary that is right at the edge of your comfort zone. And you're like, oh gosh, this is tough. That's stress. You want to be pushing your edge. If you are going to live to your max potential in your sport, you must be willing to push the edge. You got to be willing to push for more. You're not just trying to get to, a middle level and maintain. You want to go for that extra sit up, and that is going to require your mind to be able to go there too. So if you don't have the coping skills to deal with that on a regular basis, then you're not going to be able to have the recovery you need mentally. And eventually, over time, you burn out. And no matter if you're the best athlete with the most talent, even the most hardworking athlete, if you don't have the coping skills, if you don't have the right mindset to allow you to not suffer, you're going to eventually burn out. So those are the 4 keys. Now, there's one primary myth that prevents athletes from having, one of these 4 or multiple of the 4 keys. And this myth is, I don't have time. I don't have time to pack a lunch for myself. I don't have time to sleep. I don't have time to take a break. I don't have time to train my mind, but yet we have all this time for training our bodies. And then the output that you're getting from the training is not what you want. It's suboptimal because you are not putting the time, we'll call it time. It's not really about time. You're not putting the time into the other 3 pillars. So if you don't have time to sleep, to eat right, or to train your mind, what's the point of all of that frustration? There are so many athletes out there who are spending lots of valuable time beating themselves up, being frustrated, feeling stuck, feeling scared, suffering, stress without recovery, without relief, without reprieve. And over time, it just starts to take the joy out of it. And science has proven if you're happier, you perform better. And then, of course, your motivation is going to still be there to be able to go for those big dream goals that I know you have in there. Here's a fact that we proved in the last week. In just a few minutes a day, you can make humongous changes in that mental side. You're going to have to add like a half hour or an hour probably to your sleep. And that's a whole nother talk. But it's time well spent. If you can allow yourself to get into recovery for an adequate amount of time, get enough information so that you know what your body needs as far as fuel and hydration, and to get your mind trained. So we did over the past week a 7-day superhero confidence challenge. If you didn't get to join us, you missed out. You actually have 1 day to check out the replay before those videos come down. But during the last week, we spent an average of about 5 minutes a day. And at the end of the week, all the athletes who participated, they let me know what their successes were, and they posted that they had reached their goals. We had breakthroughs on tumbling. We had breakthroughs on bars. We had breakthroughs on throws in basketball. We had one guy make 1,500 free throws, and he said by the end of it, he was out of his head. He was clear. He was no longer worried about the shot. He was just hitting them. We had axles landed, or a couple little figure skaters. One was a regained axle that she had lost through fear. We had more aggressiveness, more confidence. This was literally 5 minutes a day for a week. And these athletes were completely breaking through. So now that we've finished up our challenge, I let the challenge kids know already, but they got a head start. But we just opened up the doors to the Perform Happy community. We don't do this very often because I like to bring in a group and then love on them. And we work together and we train. And we train just a few minutes a day so that these athletes can have that recovery. They can have that respite mentally So they feel like they're not doing it alone. They have tools to make it so much easier and happier. And so they don't have to deal with all that frustration, that stress, and that fear. So, because of all the great feedback, I wanted to let you know we have 9 more weekly challenges, and these are all recorded. So, if you didn't get into the Superhero Confidence Challenge in time, it's recorded. It's in the community. You have lifetime access to it as long as you're a member. And they're in 6-day chunks, but you can do them on your own time frame. If you're going to use the time excuse. But I'm going to tell you the reason that we designed them how they are is so that you can do them in the car on the way to practice. So there's no extra necessary time. You slip it in where it fits and you do it on your phone. You take it with you. And then I wanted to also let you know, because of this, the importance of the other pillars, we have 3 bonuses for people who sign up in the next 24 hours. So that's by Wednesday night. The bonus number 1 is a series of nutrition trainings with Christina Anderson. She is the gymnast nutritionist. She also, all of the trainings apply to individual sport athletes. She talks about swimmers. She talks about figure skaters, cheerleaders, gymnasts, and other sports. She has a whole set of trainings she did just for Perform Happy members so that you can know exactly what you need for performance nutrition. She also has a whole session on eating disorders. So if you wonder if your eating is serving you, that's a good one to check out. The second bonus is academic strategies for success. So if you feel like I can't possibly fit anything else in because my school is so demanding, this little mini course will teach you how to study faster, more efficiently, have less nerves, do better on tests. And then the third bonus is what we call the confidence game. So if anybody is struggling with a fear or mental block, this is a super quick exercise that you fill out. We show you exactly how to fill it out. You take it to your coach, and then it basically teaches your coach how to coach you through a mental block in 10 weeks. So that you'll get as well. So tune in tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific. We are going to be announcing the winners of our giveaway. We're giving away prizes for people who turned in their workbook from last week's challenges. If you want to sign up and you want to get in and get those bonuses, you can sign up right now. It's happy.link, but happy has no A. So it's hppy.link/enroll. That is the link. Click it, sign up. We have a 30-day money back guarantee. So if you're on the fence and you're like, I'm not sure if my athlete will like this, but you know it's what they need, sign up, give it a month, check it out. And if it's not a fit, we will give you 100% of your money back. So I encourage you to check it out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, Rebecca at performhappy.com, and get those pillars in place, get those 4 keys in place so that you can really, really love what you love. All right. We'll see you soon. Bye.